Hello and welcome to this first of many devlogs of a game that I'm creating, Lifeless Prototype. Well, I guess I should first introduce it. What is Lifeless Prototype? Well, Lifeless Prototype is going to be an RPG-esque visual novel. I didn't want to stray too far into, a full-blown RPG, but at the same time, I didn't want to just do a visual novel. I wanted it somewhere in between, and I really wanted to have an emphasis on player agency and choice. So that's going to be a very underpinning theme of the entire story. Lifeless Prototype is going to be set in an alternate fantasy/sci-fi future, and right now where it's sitting at is I've got the story pretty much fleshed out. Needs a lot more detail, and I need to go through and make all the choices and dialogue trees and things like that. But I've also started active development in the game engine. So without further ado, we're going to start off this devlog by me promising to always do a devlog every week from henceforth. I'm kind of treating this devlog as a way to hold myself accountable for any work I do or don't do in that week. Because I really do want to make this thing, and I'm just hopeful that by doing these devlogs it will incentivize me to actually work on the game. I have a lot of things going on. That's probably one of my greatest weaknesses. I got too much going on at the same time, but I really want to focus on this and I really want to get this out. So I'm going to show you exactly what I've been working on this week. I first started dabbling in programming for Lifeless Prototype in Visual Novel Maker. And when I say programming, I just mean visual blocks, because I can do a little bit of programming. I'm not the best, so I tend to like node-based structures like Blender or Unreal Falls blueprints or things like that. So I thought, hey, it's a visual novel. I'm going to use Visual Novel Maker. It's in the name, right? And for the most part, it's a great piece of software. Unfortunately, as you will see, I just couldn't really get it working to what I wanted. I had a vision, and I do have a vision in my mind of what I really want it to look like, but it ultimately wasn't getting there with Visual Novel Maker. It's a great little tool if you want to make a simplistic visual novel, and I do want to use it one day for an actual project, but for the scale that Lifeless Prototype is at the moment, it's just, I just couldn't do it. But I'll show you what I was able to do in the engine itself. It's actually, it's a fairly decent engine. But here we go. This is what Lifeless Prototype in, well, I guess at the beginning of this week on Sunday, last Sunday, was looking like. It was in this engine, and here it is. And this is, of course, the original soundtrack by me playing in the background. Now, I am happy with this menu, not in terms of the art. The art's still very drafty, but it functions well. But ultimately, it actually took such a long time just to get all of this working, and I worked out just from creating this menu. Looks like the yes is not working. That's okay. From just creating that menu, I was able to kind of dabble my feet in the engine just to see if I wanted to take the plunge into it. And the answer is not with this game. With this development, I felt that the engine was, well, not simplistic, because you can do a lot of advanced stuff with it, but with my skill level, I couldn't do much with it. So I decided to scrap Lifeless Prototype with using this engine, because it just wasn't going to work. So what could I do instead? Well, I picked up another engine the other day called 001 Game Creator. Some of you may know it. It's got an okay reputation. I decided to give it a go. And I'll show you exactly where we got to in that 1 week. Now, the first few days was me trying to come to grips with this software. This software, as you may tell, has a bit of an outdated UI. That's okay, I've dealt with Blender 2.79 and below. That UI, I have heard, is pretty horrendous. Yeah, I really like it. This game engine's a bit on the quirky side, and I like it for that. It's got some interesting features and some interesting inbuilt. There'll be a link to this engine in the description, but what it may say is no programming required, and while technically true, you have to have an understanding of programming logic, which I do, thankfully, because it's just simply like, it's not entirely true when it says no programming required. You really do have to program, just in a different methodology other than writing the text blocks that you normally associate with programming. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you now what Lifeless Prototype is looking like after 1 week of development in an active game engine. And I hope that you like what you see. Sorry for that pop-in before, it was because I set the volume low on a previous trial. But here we go, this is Lifeless Prototype, and this is where I've got to in this week. I've been able to animate this background, create it from scratch, get it working in the engine. That was the most challenging part, actually, because 001 doesn't actually support movie files, so getting this moving as it is took a bit of, tinkering. I've got a, very rudimentary UI for the volume at the moment, so let me just turn that down. And what's more is, this is 100% controller supported, which is mind-blowingly great. So I can't wait for this thing to release, and I'll be playing it on a controller, maybe even live streaming it on my other channel, Vals on Fantasy. But yeah. Now, it may not look like much. What else have I done during that week? Well, I've been scripting a lot more of the actual story, because you can't really create a game if you don't have a plan for that game. But I can't show you that just yet, because spoilers. I've also created the map of the world. So this is not the final map, but it is the basic mesh of what the map's going to look like. So we've got our highlands up here, sort of lowlands, and our lakes, and there's going to be a desert right here. So in this 1 week, I've been working on and off this project. This is where it stands so far. I hope that you've enjoyed what you've seen and think that it's really cool. If you have, be sure to check out my website, where you can subscribe for newsletters, where I'll be detailing more on the project itself. And yeah, this video is more for me. It's all about me being accountable for the work I do, and it's my hope that by doing this video every week and sitting down and kind of going through what I did that week on this game will help me and, well, incentivize me to actually work on it and give it a good shot, because I really want to bring this to you. I really want to share this story with you, and I hope that when it is complete, it is something that is worth paying for and is enjoyable for everyone. So thank you so much for sticking around if you're still here. And if you've enjoyed this video, enjoyed the content, and liked what you've seen, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you like, tell me what you dislike, and thank you so much for watching.